The morning had started like any other, the sunlight spilling lazily through our bedroom blinds, the scent of brewed coffee drifting in from the kitchen. I was half awake, still clinging to the comfort of routine, when she turned to me with that cruel smirk I knew all too well. "You're such a simp," she said, her words slicing through the fragile calm. "Always bending over backward for me. Honestly, it's pathetic." I blinked, stunned, my hands tightening around the bedsheets. I wanted to argue, to fight back, but something in her tone, the casual venom, made me pause. I'd loved this woman for years. We had built a life, shared dreams, and yet in a single sentence, she had reduced me to someone disposable. 4 weeks after, I replayed those words over and over. They echoed in my mind during mundane moments, making breakfast, folding laundry, sitting in traffic. The hurt festered quietly, like a bruise hidden beneath the skin, until it began to awaken something dark and vigilant inside me. I tried to convince myself she was just stressed, maybe projecting frustration, but subtle changes began to reveal themselves. Secretive phone calls, unexplained late nights, the faint perfume that wasn't hers lingering in the air. My heart wrestled with reason and doubt. And then one night the truth shattered me. I had stayed late at the office, pretending to work on reports I barely needed to touch. The building was silent when I slipped into the empty hallways, guided by an inexplicable instinct. That's when I saw her, or rather what she was doing. Through the partially open office door, she moved with someone else, a man I recognized from our neighborhood, the one we sometimes waved to during weekend walks. Shock froze me in place, my chest tightening so violently I thought I might collapse. Betrayal isn't something you prepare for. It's something that steals your breath and your heartbeat simultaneously. Her voice, a blend of laughter and urgency, reached me first. Then the reality hit. My wife was unfaithful. And not just with anyone, but someone I had considered harmless, someone I had never suspected. The next weeks were a whirlwind of suppressed rage, sleepless nights, and fragmented confrontations. I confronted her once, my voice shaking with controlled fury. "Who is he?" I asked, my words sharp, trembling. She looked at me with that same cold detachment. "You're imagining things. You're paranoid." I wanted to believe her, wanted desperately to chalk it up to my own insecurities. But the evidence, tiny glimpses, digital breadcrumbs, whispered confessions from mutual acquaintances, kept surfacing. Each discovery deepened the wound, and each time I looked at her, I saw not the woman I loved, but the stranger who had been living a double life in my house. Weeks turned into months. My anger and heartbreak twisted into a careful, almost clinical patience. I watched and waited, letting her confidence grow, unaware of the storm I was gathering silently. Then came the day it all unraveled. Suddenly, irreversibly. She was pulled out of our home in handcuffs, police officers moving with quiet authority. The neighbors gawked, whispering, children crying behind drawn curtains. I stood back, silent, my mind racing but my body unervingly still. What's happening?" she demanded, her voice laced with panic, disbelief mingling with the remnants of arrogance. I didn't answer immediately. I let the moment stretch, let the shock sink in. Then finally I spoke, my voice calm but carrying the weight of every sleepless night, every betrayal. "Truth has a way of coming out," I said. She stared at me, eyes wide, the mask of superiority finally slipping. And as the officers led her away, I realized something profound. I was free, not just from her, but from the grip of manipulation and lies that had defined the last months of my life. Sitting alone in the quiet aftermath, the adrenaline faded, leaving a hollow ache in its place. The house was too still, the rooms too empty, but for the first time in months, I could breathe without fear or doubt. I felt the heavy weight of betrayal, yes, but also an unanticipated clarity. Pain had taught me vigilance. Heartbreak had granted me perspective. I looked around at the life we had built, now fractured, and for a fleeting moment, I allowed myself a bittersweet smile. She had underestimated me, dismissed me, even mocked my love. But truth and justice had a way of balancing scales in ways that anger alone could never achieve. As the sunlight poured through the blinds again, this time without her shadow in it, I realized that the story wasn't just about betrayal or humiliation. It was about survival, resilience, and the quiet power that comes from reclaiming your life after deceit. And in that silent house, I whispered to myself, letting the words anchor my newfound resolve. You may have tried to break me, but I survived. And now I am free.